Hello, Life Extension Live, Life Extension family. Hello, it's great to see everybody. I'm back today. Wonderful to be back. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day. So this is our extension of the Own My Wellness campaign. As you know, I talked about this yesterday, that we're partnering with some awesome registered dietitians, just to talk about some important issues that are a part of the Own My Wellness campaign. Just real quick, what does that mean to own my wellness? I think number one, and you guys know this, it's about being proactive. It's about having good information that you can use, that you can build your own personalized regimens, diets, strategies for whatever your goals are. So proactive is definitely a part of Own My Wellness. And then I want to say something here. It has to be accurate. The information that you're using has to be backed up by good science, rigorous science. And that's what we do at Life Extension. And all of the registered dietitians that we work with, including my guest today, totally buys into that and totally gets that. So accuracy is important. And then the last part of Own My Wellness is about protection. We want to protect your health, your wellness, your muscles, your sleep, your immune. It goes on and it goes on and it goes on. So that's Own My Wellness. And today I'm so excited. My guest is someone that I have worked with before. I think we've done a couple of lives.
We've done podcasts together.
That's right. We did podcasts. Yes. And that's Reagan Jones you just heard. Reagan Jones is a nationally known registered dietitian. I want to tell you something. She won a big award at one point in 2017. No, this is big. She's laughing. This is big. She won the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics Media Excellence Award. She is on it and sharp. Reagan, welcome to the show.
Well, Dr. Mike, it's good to be back with you. It's my pleasure. And thank you for that kind introduction.
Yeah, I think the first time we did a live was back in was it Fancy 2 years ago?
Probably so. I think
there was below us was that all the booths, and we were up like on a balcony, and you had your phone. I mean, it was great. It was a wonderful experience. And that was my first Fancy. So I was really, my audience is probably like, what's a Fancy? That's just a conference that registered dietitians go to. And we met a lot of the great RDs that we work with, like Reagan, through that conference. So, hey, Reagan, do me a favor. I'd like my audience to know a little bit more about who you are and why you focused on nutrition and diet to help people.
Well, I kind of grew up in a family learning how to cook. And so when I actually went to college, knew that I wanted to do something where I got to learn more about food. And as you say, owning your wellness has always been something that I've been super passionate about, just owning my wellness. And I really learned in college that there was so much that you could do to prevent illness. And I know you believe in this too, that it's so much more important to prevent illness before you ever get to that point than have to try to treat it after the fact. So that's ultimately what led me into this career path of being a registered dietitian. I'm also a little bit of a techie. So I've kind of made this technology space, instead of being in a hospital talking about nutrition, I'm often online or on air talking about nutrition as a registered dietitian.
Well, and that's why you won that award. You know what you're doing. That's pretty impressive. And I like that. I like the way you said that too, because as a medical doctor, I don't practice clinical medicine anymore. That was years ago. And I focus more on these media outlets, education. I am not tech savvy. I have people like Robson, who's our producer, that makes everything look great. I just start talking, Reagan, I don't know, and everything I hope turns out all right. So, but you and I are kind of in that same place, right? Where we're using the different media sources to educate, right? And to help people own their own wellness. We're going to talk about the immune system, right? Everybody's kind of talking about the immune system right now. And I get that, but Reagan, I don't know if you know this, Life Extension has been talking about the immune system for many, many decades.
Yeah.
Right. I understand that it's at the forefront of people's minds and what they're thinking about, but it's nothing new for Life Extension. I actually looked back and I wanted to see when was the first immune lecture I ever gave. It was 2002.
Wow.
Right. And then I came to Life Extension like 2006 and I updated it and I did a lecture back then. So we've been talking about this a long time, and it's just really important right now. I don't know. Here's I'm going to give my little spill about the immune system, and then I'm going to let you kind of like talk into that. The immune system is one of the pillars of longevity. I mean, I think that's a good way to think about it. I mean, we talk about heart health. We talk about brain health. We talk about all that kind of stuff, bone health, muscle, and that's all important. But listen, if you don't have a strong immune system and you're prone to infections, you're probably not going to make it as long as you want. I mean, that's just how it is. So for me, the immune system has always been a pillar of longevity, and it's really a foundation health issue that I think more and more people need help with. What do you think about that, Reagan?
Oh, I think that's absolutely true. And one of the things that I really work with my audience, this Unmillennial Life, my audience is unmillennial. And so we really focus in on what are we doing for our health as we age. You know, we wake up one day and you realize I'm not as young as I used to be. And so what you say is so true that, you know, there are all these things that we hear about individually in terms of our health, but our immune system is something that we have to look at from many different angles. And what are the different things that we can do to support that? I know for me, of course, as a registered dietitian, one of the first places that I start with supporting my immune system is choosing foods that are nutrient rich in immune supporting vitamins and minerals. But I also do things like I strength train, I do exercise. This time of year, I do as much exercise outside as possible. There's nothing better than sunshine on your face when you're doing exercise. And then I also am doing something that you and I have talked about. I'm making sleep a priority for my.
Oh, yes. We've talked about that a lot.
Right. It's, you know, I should say it's a passion project. Other than nutrition, probably sleep is one of those things that is a passion project for me, because we know that getting enough sleep is a part of, is also a part of stress management. The two kind of go hand in hand. And that's a part of keeping your immune system strong. And then there are other things I do, some supplements, of course, that I take for immune system support. But, you know, you just can't underscore enough how as we age, there are just certain dietary patterns and things that we tend to be more deficient in. And we have to focus in on keeping our immune system strong. Going into the fall and winter now is a perfect time for people to start thinking about their
very important. And again, I'd like just to reiterate for the audience, it's not just about what we're dealing with today.
Right.
I mean, this is a topic that we have talked about. We're going to continue to talk about pre-COVID, post-COVID. Yes, hang in there. There's going to be a post-COVID. There will be. And we're going to continue to talk about the immune system. I like what you said that, you know, you focus on food first. Mm-hmm. I think that's, you know, and Life Extension has written extensively about healthy food and nutrition. What do you think, Reagan? You know, there's this phrase that I've even thrown around that other researchers, doctors, RDs throw around that we're overfed and undernourished. How does that affect the immune system?
I think that's so true. You know, I don't want to single out any one particular nutrient, but we do know like high sugar diets, for instance, they really take a toll on the immune system. And I think that's really what you're getting to the bottom of when you talk about being overfed yet undernourished. If you have a diet that's really rich in calories, but low in vitamins and minerals and some of the key nutrients and even macronutrients that we know build strong bones and keep our enzymes healthy, you can have adequate or even too many calories, you know, to put on excess weight, for a number of different health issues that go along with that. But yet the underpinnings, the macronutrients, the proteins, the healthy fats, you know, the fiber, the macronutrients that go into a healthy diet, the vitamins, the minerals. I know we're going to talk about some mineral components of the immune system. When those things are not in play, just because you may have a higher weight doesn't necessarily mean that your body is optimally functioning with all the enzymatic processes that it needs to not only be its best, but, you know, for this topic, to fight off infection and to fight off any component that is looking to reduce your longevity ultimately.
Yeah, that's a great point. And so that, you know, here's a great example, because I wanted to talk to you about zinc. You mentioned some minerals. I mean, you know, if somebody is being overfed and undernourished, what's the chances that they're getting adequate or optimal levels of zinc, from their diet? Is probably not all that great. Why do we want to talk about zinc? Now, listen, the life extension audience, I've been talking about zinc for a long time, and there's obviously other important immune minerals, immune proteins that we could talk about, but I wanted to bring it down to zinc because I personally think there's a mineral deficiency in this country. It's not just zinc, magnesium, selenium, you can lay them all out. But zinc more and more is being shown in the research to be very low in a lot of Americans. And so we want to reverse that because zinc is such an important immune nutrient. Maybe the audience doesn't know this, but zinc actually has a direct effect in inhibiting cold viruses from actually getting into your system. I mean, it acts like a barrier. Like when you take zinc, it lines your upper respiratory tract and it's like a shield. It's like blocking those viruses. So what kind of conversations can doctors, RDs, clinical nutritionists, what kind of conversations should we be having with our clients, patients, et cetera, about minerals, specifically about zinc?
Well, certainly as a registered dietitian, we always look to assess the diet to see if someone is consuming adequate sources of important immune supporting nutrients like zinc. Are they consuming enough sources? But the reality is, Dr. Mike, that as we age, zinc deficiency is quite common. So usually I recommend that going into a season where we know we really want to support the immune system, I usually recommend supplemental zinc as a part of the supplement regimen that people are taking. And that's something easy to find out from your clients and your patients, is just what supplements are they taking? Do they take a multivitamin? Do they take a multimineral? And then really assessing what are their dietary sources of minerals like zinc, and can they just simply add on a zinc supplement, especially during this time where immune support is so important.
Yeah, that's a great point. I do want to mention, so you'll find zinc in most multivitamins, and that's a great place to start. Most of them are pretty low though overall in the dose of zinc. So especially during cold and flu season, you might want to consider a standalone.
Absolutely.
And there's capsules, there's lozenges, there's different ways of doing, but maybe during cold and flu season, I kind of like people to talk a little bit about maybe 15, 20 milligrams of copper. That seems to be okay. There are some issues with like copper. You have to be a little careful with zinc there. But if you're eating healthy and you're eating the right foods, that's really not an issue because you're getting the copper and that kind of stuff from those foods. So I don't worry about that so much at the dose of around 15-ish, 20 milligrams, something along those lines. Yeah, so there's so many other things that we could talk about with the immune system, isn't there? Zinc was just one that I really wanted to bring to the forefront because I think it's missing in the food, and we're not even eating those foods as much as we should. But based on the poor soil content and just the way we treat our land and our food, I mean, a lot of the minerals are quite low in the food. So just even if, and let me maybe get your opinion about this, Reagan, even if you are eating as healthy a diet as you can, I mean, is it still good maybe to look for a multi and look for some of these standalone minerals?
Absolutely. And that's personally what I do. I mean, anybody that follows me online knows that I have a pretty darn healthy diet. If you did a dietary assessment from what I eat every day, you probably find that based on my dietary assessment, you say, yes, checking all the boxes. But I still am regularly, like you say, I mean, yes, I'm taking a multivitamin, but in this season, I have added on a daily zinc supplement because I know that I want that immune support. I want that support that I know that zinc is going to get me. And then, of course, there are other supplements and vitamins and minerals that we've talked about in the past that I always recommend that even if you are overall eating a pretty healthy diet, it's a supplement and there's no harm in that, and getting a little bit of additional support, just a little bit of insurance to make sure that you're covering all your bases.
Yeah, great. When it came to us partnering with registered dietitians like yourself, for life extension, it made perfect sense because, we're a supplement company, but we're about the holistic approach to people.
Sure.
It's about the food. It's about exercise. It's about stress. It's about sleep. It's about all of that we talked about. And supplements simply supplement a good diet, right? And so even if you're eating great, I mean, you still probably need some little extra boost of some of these micronutrients that we want to get in. So I think this was a great conversation. So this is Reagan Jones. She is nationally known. She is an award-winning registered dietitian. I'm so happy and so honored that she came on with me today. Hey, Reagan, how could the audience kind of find out a little bit more about you?
Well, most places you'll find me, if you look for This Unmillennial Life, I'm going to be there. I'm on Instagram. I'm here on Facebook. And I also have a podcast, This Unmillennial Life. And that's one of the best ways to connect with me. I often am sharing this type of information with my audience. So you'll easily be able to find me and get more information that way.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for coming on. And I want to thank everybody for watching the live today. This is the Own My Wellness campaign from Life Extension and wonderful registered dietitians like Reagan Jones. Hey, don't forget, you can find more information about everything we just talked about at lifeextension.com/ownmywellness, all one word. And tomorrow, Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern, I have the Nutrition Twins. Yeah. And we're going to be talking about mental health issues during this time and during all times, really, to be honest with you. So join me tomorrow at 4 p.m. for that. And don't forget, it's lifeextension.com/ownmywellness. Reagan, thank you. Audience, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.